Good morning, lecturers. Welcome to our Maths N4 webinar, hosted by Macmillan in partnership with Tropan Publishers. Our key focus this morning is to discuss the curriculum changes so that you are assisted in embracing the new curriculum for Maths N4. We are delighted to announce that we have 3 titles approved by the TVET, and the authors for the 3 books are Sunil Chattergoon, Martins van Rensburg, and Ivan Marpeling. The reason for the 3 books is that you, as the lecturer, must pick the course that suits you and your students the best. So during the course of this morning's presentation, we will go through all 3 books, and at the end of the presentation, Amanda will come through and just summarize what the differences are between each title. Our presenter this morning is a seasoned college lecturer. He has 34 years experience. His current active role includes national examiner for 2 subjects, author of a number of titles, chief marker and internal moderator, and also a member of the curriculum support team. On the control panel is on your right-hand side, so please make use of that to chat to us, pose your questions, and we'll address these right at the end. I will also provide a link to our sample books, which you can view online. So without further ado, I'd like to hand over to Sunil, who's going to take you through this morning's presentation. Welcome, everyone, and welcome, Sunil.
Thank you very much, Gan. Good morning, colleagues, and welcome to this webinar concerning the curriculum changes in Mathematics N4 that will be implemented as from the first trimester of 2022, which commences in March of this year. Colleagues, I want to express my sincerest gratitude to you all for making time to be part of this session. I do appreciate that many of you are busy with invigilation, internal marking, and some of you are preparing for virtual meetings to standardize national marking guidelines. In this webinar, I want to briefly review and discuss the new curriculum outcomes for Mathematics N4. Discuss how this affects the learning content, your academic year, and your assessment, and then show you how the TVET first book for Mathematics N4 will support your teaching. As you may know, the TVET curriculum for many subjects have been reviewed and updated by the Department of Higher Education and Training for implementation in the last year and the current year. Let's have a look at what these changes are for Mathematics N4 and how they affect your subject planning. The general aims of Mathematics N4 is to provide learners with skills necessary to identify and solve mathematical problems, and to also solve calculations with regards to engineering type problems encountered at industry. The content of this syllabus will also equip learners with relevant knowledge to enable them to integrate meaningfully into their trade subjects and also form a firm foundation for Mathematics N5 and N6. The specific aims of this subject is to equip learners with the skills to solve equations having 2 or 3 unknowns using determinants, solve trigonometric equations and to prove trigonometric identities, sketch algebraic and trigonometric graphs, and to introduce differential and integral calculus, thereby serving as a prerequisite for Mathematics N5 and Mathematics N6. The changes to the curriculum for 2022 The syllabus for Mathematics N4 has been recently revised and updated. The old Module 1 on equations, manipulation, and word problems has been removed completely. The weighting of the modules on complex numbers, differential calculus, and integration have been increased. All of the learning outcomes have been renumbered. Some of the learning outcomes have been reworded, and some of the vague learning outcomes are now more detailed. Modules of the new mathematics curriculum are determinants, complex numbers, trigonometry, functions and graphs, differential calculus, integration or integral calculus. The weighting of 3 modules have changed. You'll notice the changes are marked in red in the weighting column. The weighting of complex numbers increases from 10% to 12%. The weighting of differential calculus increases from 20% to 25%. And the weighting of integral calculus also increases from 20 to 25%. There is less focus now in the new syllabus guide on recall type questions in the new assessment standards. Recall and reproduction was previously 30% and it is now 20%. Understanding and application type questions remain at 40%. Analysis, synthesis, and evaluation has now been increased by 10% from 30 to 40%. Let's take a closer look at the changes that have been made to each module in more detail. Module 1, determinants. The weighting of Module 1 is unchanged at 8%. Learners are now specifically required to use row elimination to solve third-order determinants. In other words, learners are now only required to use the cofactor expansion method to evaluate third-order determinants. The diagonal expansion method is no longer required by the syllabus. The new learning outcomes do not specifically require of learners to know the definition of cofactor or minor of an element. The module is otherwise unchanged. Module 2, complex numbers. The weighting of this module has increased by 2% from 10% to 12%. The learning outcomes, however, remain unchanged. Module 3, trigonometry. The weighting remains unchanged at 20%. The learning outcomes of this module also remain unchanged. Module 4, functions and graphs. The weighting of this module remains unchanged at 10%. This module was previously called sketch graphs. Continuous and discontinuous functions are no longer mentioned in the new syllabus. Factor theorem and long division are no longer mentioned in connection with finding roots of functions. This module is otherwise unchanged. Module 5, differential calculus. This module's weighting has been increased by 5% from 20 to 25%. This module was previously called limits and differentiation. The new syllabus specifies that the binomial theorem may be used with rational indices to expand a simple binomial to 4 terms only. It also states that learners may only be expected to expand to an index n, which is strictly positive and less than 4. The syllabus specifically requires that learners must be able to sketch graphs indicating maximum and minimum values derived using second derivatives of functions. The module is otherwise unchanged. Module 6, Integral Calculus. The weighting of this module has increased also by 5% from 20 to 25%. The new learning outcome requires of learners to calculate the areas bounded by 2 curves. The module is otherwise unchanged. To summarize the changes, the syllabus is largely unchanged. Modules have been re-weighted. The old module 1 has been removed completely. All learning outcomes have been renumbered. Some of the vague learning outcomes contained in the old syllabus have now been explained in more detail. In the new module 1, or determinants, learners are required to use the cofactor expansion method only to evaluate a third-order determinant. In module 6, integration, learners are now also required to calculate the area bounded by 2 graphs. This is the second edition of the TVET First Mathematics N4 book produced by Macmillan and Tropant. This edition has been fully updated to align with the requirements of the new curriculum. Each module in the book matches to each module of the new 2022 syllabus. The modules and units of our book are aligned to the curriculum and use the same topics and subtopics. We are going to take a look at how our book can help you in the classroom. The book is full of useful features that will help you and your learners to navigate your way through this curriculum. Let's take a look at some of these features. Each module starts with an overview box that introduces the content to be covered in the module and lists all learning outcomes from the curriculum. The overview box is followed by a starter activity. This is a class activity or discussion designed to introduce learners to the content by relating it to things they are already familiar with. In our book, we have used easy to follow explanations in simple language throughout, particularly for those difficult sections. The book is full of clear and fully labeled diagrams with captions. All graphs are drawn in color and all labels clearly shown. Photographs help with learners' understanding and link what they are learning to engineering applications and the workplace. The learning content is supported with comprehensive and carefully selected, worked out examples to help learners' understanding of difficult concepts and calculations. The syllabus guide prescribes that problems should be based on real-world scenarios. The syllabus guide also asks of the content of mathematics to be integrated into our engineering subjects. The author has a very strong engineering background and has used this to carefully formulate examples that learners will encounter in certain engineering subjects. The book contains many real engineering-related problems. A summary of the content of each unit of each module is included at the end of the module, highlighting all the key points. These are excellent revision tools. Numerous activities have been modeled on exam type questions with mark allocations that allow students to practice what they are learning. There are many definition boxes which outline important definitions. Language support for vocabulary and technical terms is provided in the margins to assist all learners. There are many gray information boxes that are used throughout the book in order to highlight the important formulae and other important information. Boxes highlighting important information and notes appear throughout the book. See it online web links are also provided for certain sections. Each module is concluded with a summative assessment activity. These are indispensable for revision and examination preparation and are modeled on exam type questions. Short answers are provided at the back of the book so that learners can check their work. All the keywords, vocabulary, and definitions from the book are included in a comprehensive glossary, which provides an excellent reference for learners. A typical exam formula sheet is also printed at the back of the book for easy reference. Exam tips are included throughout the book to assist learners. There is a practice exam which learners can use for examination preparation. The author makes use of simple language and mnemonics to help learners to remember how to solve certain problems. For example, when learners are required to evaluate a third order determinant, the procedure says very clearly that we must find the sum of three products. To find each product, use the author's so-called SEM principle, which means first part is the sign, then multiplied by the element of the chosen row, and then multiplied by the minor of the element. Colleagues, nowhere in any of the maths books do you find principles of this. That is why I specifically say it's the author's so-called principle. It is merely intended to help learners to remember. The book clearly shows how to differentiate mathematical functions, and after the learners have mastered the technique, then the author shows how to apply the chain rule. But the author says the chain rule in its disguised form. With his nearly 34 years of teaching experience, he has found that the learners grasp this method very well. This, the author likes to call in his book the something principle. Those of you that have used our first edition, you would have noticed what the something principle is. In the second edition, we have expanded a little more on that principle. The author also uses a simple 4-question technique to help learners to remember how to simplify trigonometric functions using reduction formulae, negative angles, and co-ratios. Here we are trying to avoid or minimize memorizing. The author demonstrates clearly in table form how to determine critical values such as maximum and minimum turning points, points of inflection of functions using differentiation, and then how to sketch graphs of these functions using the values calculated. Our comprehensive lecturer's guide includes the following: full solutions to all activities, curriculum mapping document, lesson plan template, suggested 10-week teaching plan, teaching guidelines and useful web links, 2 class tests, and memoranda and analysis grids. Memorandum for the practice exam is found in the student book. Mathematics N4 will be evaluated by means of 2 formal class tests and a final examination. All our activities and summative assessments are modeled on exam type questions. A practice class test 1 and a practice class test 2 are provided in our lecturer's guide, including memoranda and analysis grids. A practice exam is provided in the student book with the memo and analysis grid to be found in the lecturer's guide. We have highlighted all the significant changes to the Mathematics N4 syllabus. Lecturers using our first edition have benefited greatly from our book. Learners also enjoyed the book and produced good results. We are very optimistic that our second edition will live up to all expectations. Our book has been screened by independent screeners appointed by the Department of Higher Education and Training, and we received excellent feedback from the screeners. This slide summarizes the features of the TVET first mathematics book. I have covered each of these during the presentation this morning. These are the other titles written by the same author: Electrical Trade Theory N1, N2, and N3, Electrotechnology N3, Electrotechniques N4, N5, and N6, Mathematics N6, co-authored with Mr. J.V. John, Mathematics N4, first edition, and now the second edition. Colleagues, I've come to the end of my presentation. I'm going to hand over to Amanda, who is then going to brief us on the content of the other 2 titles, of the other 2 authors, and then we will open the floor for questions and answers. Amanda, over to you.
Thank you, Sunil. Good morning, everybody, and thank you so much for this opportunity to just give you an overview of the different books that we have. Just waiting on Gan quickly.
Okay, I'm just gonna put that up shortly. I just need to change the presenter here. If I do that.
Thanks, Gan.
1 second. Okay, I can't change Sunil at the moment, so.
No problem.
Let me make you an organizer, then you can show your screen. Would that be fine?
Okay, perfect. No problem.
Yeah, that'll be better.
All right, you'll have to tell me if once it's showing up.
Okay, you are now a presenter.
Right. Are you seeing a
There we go.
single slide
Yes.
or?
No, we're seeing your with notes. So just go to presentation mode.
Right, so have to forgive me. This is the first time I'm doing this one, so.
I think right click and hide presenter.
Okay. All right, what are you seeing?
Now we're seeing your desktop screen.
Oh dear.
It's fine if you use the presenter view as long as we can see what you're talking about. I think that's the important thing.
Okay, I hope so.
Yeah, no.
Okay, perfect. All right, everybody, thanks for your patience. The second book that we have on offer is Mathematics or Maths by Van Rensburg. It's the series is by Martins van Rensburg. It's an update of his previous book, and obviously covers the latest curriculum requirements as well. We had this book screened and also received some great feedback. It is clear and concise, with short explanations that get straight to the point. And what we've seen is it's been an effective and proven learning tool with previous lecturers. It has varied activities and it covers the full range of exam requirements. We also have included extension activities in this book. So to give you just an overview of the features and benefits, there are concise explanations. As I've said, these guide the students through the curriculum step by step. We have worked examples which help the students to understand each step of an example and different questions. There are also varied activities, and these are modeled on exams and exam type questions, which allows these students plenty of exam practice and to make sure that they understand all types of questions. There are multiple activities, and we also have summative assessments, which help the students consolidate their knowledge. This author's also offered alternative methods for different questions, and this is in order to cater to different learning styles, to different learners, to different lecturers. So there's opportunity for you to use what works for you. He's included extension questions, and then what's really great is there is an enrichment activity for each module, and this will help to develop your stronger students. In this book, the students learn to apply their knowledge. They don't just memorize it, they have to understand it. And then there are questions and tools to help them to know when to apply the steps that they've learned. And then there's also a practice exam that prepares the students for their final examination, and a full marking memorandum with all the steps is included in the lecturer's guide. Just to give you an idea, you saw some images earlier of the of mathematics by Chittigan. This is just some images of the difference that you'll see with the Van Rensburg book. So this one is, like I said, very simple to the point. It's a black and white book. So for lecturers who are more comfortable with black and white and not having color, we've got that option. As I said, there's different examples. They work through step by step. Very clear. There's his alternative method. If you look in the second image here, different ways of approaching problems. There are also summaries in this book, but instead of being in the flow diagram form, they are in point form for those learners who like the structure of having something summarized point by point. Each unit also follows the syllabus and the subheadings, so it is easy to follow as you work through that curriculum. All right, then if we look at the student's handbook, this is by Mr. Mappeling. This is a practical hands-on approach to the curriculum. It also is straight to the point, has a basic overview of everything that is needed by the students. It's very targeted for different problems. And again, we have step-by-step explanations, and there's guidance for the learners as they go through each question in how to apply their knowledge. What's really great about this book is students can check the full solutions at the back of the book, so they can gain vital insight into where they've made mistakes or where they got stuck on a problem, and they're able to work through it on their own and check their work. The aims of this book from Mr. Mappeling is to help the students in 3 ways. So to analyze the question that they're given. Once they've analyzed it, they need to select the methods and tools that are needed to solve the question, and he gives them great ways to do that. And then he helps them to apply the method from the previous steps. So looking at some of the features and benefits of this book, there are what you should know boxes, and this explains the mathematics of the module in simple bullet points. It's an overview of what they need to know for the coming questions. He puts in reminders of the basic mathematical and algebraic rules, and those are for what the students will need to use in the section. As I said, there's step-by-step methods going through those 3 steps that I pointed out. He has lots of worked examples, and each step is clearly explained with the method and the tools that the students need to work their way through each problem. The activities that he's designed have also been modeled on exam type questions to give the students excellent preparation, along with an exam practice activity for each module. The students have the complete solutions at the back of the book so that they can check their answers, they can make sure they've got each step correct, and they can understand how well they're doing and make sure that they are fully prepared. To give you an idea of how this book looks in its different design, here we have finding the derivative from first principles. So you can see there's the step-by-step tools and method that they need to solve this problem. And then in the example, again, we've got each step with an explanation helping them to work through that step-by-step and know what they must apply at each point. At the back of the book, we've got those full solutions with mark allocations so that students can see exactly how to work through the entire problem and the value of that type of question in the exam. And then we have the what you should know boxes, which cover all the basic information that's needed for the section. So that would be then, instead of summaries, we've got the what you should knows. In order to help you to make your decision, the idea of these books is that you select the course that works best for you as a lecturer, as knowing your students. So what I've done is we've put together a summary here of who each book is ideal for. So obviously, if we look at mathematics, which was the first one by Mr. Chittagun, we've got that it is ideal for all students that are enrolled for Mathematics N4. It's ideal for students who prefer scaffolded content and varied practice in order to prepare for their exams. This book will be a big help for lecturers who teach large mixed ability classes. So if you want a resource that's all inclusive and that students can use at home or to study at their own pace, this book is great. And it's also a very comprehensive book for self-study if you have distance learning students or, like I said, students that want to study on their own. Then the Maths by Van Rensburg. This is for students who want to consolidate the basics of maths. It's simple to the point, so it's easy and quick for them. It's great for stronger students that want to extend themselves and want some extra practice with the enrichment activities. Lecturers who like to work with alternative methods will find this book great because it caters for different learning styles and different approaches. And then for those of you that have used a Van Rensburg maths book in the past and you know that it works for you, then this book will be great. Lastly, the Student's Handbook. For students who are studying pretty much on their own and they need everything in a hands-on guide, this is great. If you're using, for students that are using a core textbook and would like some more practical application, or they need help with their technique or understanding it step by step, this was got that for them. If your students are wanting to improve their results, so either going from a fail to a pass or from very good to excellent, any type of increase in marks, this book helps, as it's got the step by step, it's got the reiteration, it's got your basic explanations. And then if you would like your students to take responsibility for their learning and apply themselves, then this book is also great in that respect. It helps them to make sure that they are working through each section and checking themselves as they go along. So thank you very much for that opportunity to give you an overview of the different books and who they would be ideal for. Yeah?
Yeah, thank you very much. I've provided the links to view the sample books online. You will find it in the chat box, and the link is there. And we're also visiting campuses. Our sales team nationally are visiting campuses with sample copies. So if you haven't received yours, please make a note of my email. Drop me an email and we'll make sure that you get a copy. And you'll get a copy of each of these titles. So you are spoiled for choice as a lecturer. And as Amanda has pointed out, you've got a choice of which one is going to work best for you and for your student in the classroom. So now we'd like to give you the opportunity to pose either a subject-related question or one about the various textbooks. We've got both Sunil and Amanda and also our publishing manager at hand, Lindsay. So you've got a great deal of expertise that you can tap into. I've seen so far just from, is it Reginald, requesting the new curriculum, the new syllabus for Maths N4. We'll send that to you and anyone else that requires that. But please make use of this opportunity to clarify anything about the new curriculum. So it's over to you now. Please, you may unmute yourself and pose your question. You have a great opportunity to do so right now. Yes, Wisdom, go ahead. You need to unmute yourself. Okay. It's really just another request for the curriculum. We've got a list of all the attendees and we'll send that through to you, not a problem. Apparently the chat box, you can't see the information there. So I'm just going to read it out to you quickly. So if you'd like to view the online samples, all you need to do is just go to macmillaneducation.co.za and click on the TVET tab, and you'll find a tab for all the sample books. So you'll find all engineering titles listed that you can view. Also, my email address is gan.krishna, that's GAN.KRISHNA @macmillaneducation.co.za. If you send us an email requesting a sample copy and we haven't visited your campus yet, we'll be sure to send one to you. Okay, let's move on to the next person. You just need Andile. Please unmute yourself and you can pose your question to the panelists. Andile, your hand is up. Okay, whilst Andile is formulating his question, let's give an opportunity to Zanele Marke. Zanele, please go ahead. You need to unmute yourself if you'd like to speak. Otherwise, we can't hear what you are saying. Okay, I see a number of hands up. So if you just unmute yourself and please go ahead. So I'm not sure what the issue is, whether there's a sound problem. Wisdom, can you just try and unmute yourself? There is an unmute button there with the red microphone. If you click on that, that'll give you the opportunity to speak. Okay, if you can't unmute, then maybe you can just pose your question in the question box and then I'll read it out to the presenters. So if you just want to type up your question quickly and we'll pose it to the panelists. Mbata, there's just a comment from Mbata. Hope these textbooks that are presented to us are error-free. Who would like to tackle that? Amanda or Sunil?
Okay, let me try.
Right.
I think to give a guarantee that any book of this magnitude is going to be error-free might be very difficult. But the process that Macmillan Tropunt have used recently, we are hoping that it is totally error-free. We have gone through many proofreading sessions. And as I speak to you, we are still doing another proofread. So the final product, it is our fervent hope and wish that it will be error-free.
Thanks, Sunil. I just want the presenter to emphasize on the changes on determinants. Sunil, you want to tackle that?
Yes, I will. The module 2 of the old syllabus has now become module 1 of the new syllabus. There is no new learning outcome. All that they have done is remove, they kept just basically one method now of solving the determinants. So solving equations having 2 unknowns is still there. Solving equations having 3 unknowns is still there.
Okay.
So the only method, in the old syllabus, we had the diagonal expansion method. Very few colleges in the country used to use this method. Most of the colleges used to use the cofactor expansion. So we've removed the less popular, and the more popular has become the only method, which is the cofactor expansion method.
Okay, thank you. There's still a number of requests for the new syllabus. As I indicated, we will send that through to you. We do have a list of the attendees that have registered today, so that's not an issue. Anything different?
Can I just add one point here?
Please go ahead.
The syllabus guide that we are sending out does not have the official TVET logo on it. At our college, we've also requested the final syllabus guide. in order to help the screening process. And the one that we received does not have the official TVET logo on it. I'm not sure whether that's the one you are sending out to our colleagues.
Well, we haven't sent anything out yet, but we will discuss this and just make sure that we have the correct version before sending it out.
Okay.
Is there any reason why there isn't a THET logo on the cover?
I have no idea. Our academic head sourced from TVET last week the syllabus guide to help our screeners, and the one that the book publishers have and the one that TVET sent to us are the same. It doesn't look like an official document, but that is the guide that we had to use when writing these books.
Okay. Thanks, Sunil. From Moji, we are striving to go paperless. Are you able to supply ebooks that can be used on interactive boards? That's 100% yes. All our print material, print books are now available as ebooks, so you'll have no issue in that regard. There's also requests for lecture guides. Anything else related to the curriculum? Feedback on this morning's workshop, has it prepared you adequately to tackle the changes for trimester 1 as you implemented the new curriculum? Okay, here's another one, Sunil and Amanda. I want to know if there's any problem using the old book since you guys are yet to publish the textbook. Well, the textbooks will be available with the commencement of trimester 1. You should have the books ready by then. So I don't see the need to use the old textbook. But if any of the panelists want to tackle that one, please feel free.
I think Amanda will be able to give us an idea, or maybe yourself, Gan, because the books are ready for print.
Yeah, so.
And the other book publishing companies that presented a little workshop at our college also have the promo copy and have indicated to us that the final prints will be out in this coming month. So which means they will have it before the new trimester begins.
Yes, that's our intention, to ensure that you have books when you start trimester 1. Okay, Zondi, Sibusiso Zondi. I see we're having a problem with the audio. It's not okay, yeah, you're unmuted. Sibusiso, please go ahead. Sibusiso, you're unmuted. Sibusiso, your hand is still up and we've unmuted you, so you can go ahead with your question. We're not hearing from you. Lawrence, is yours also related to the new syllabus, or is there something additional? I see your hand is still up. Mamecha Lawrence.
Yes, it's related to the new syllabus and the lectures guide. When can we expect them?
Yes, I think our publisher is going to check with TVET to make sure that we've got the most recent version of the syllabus, and then we'll send it on to you. I'm sure we'll try by the end of the week.
Okay, thanks.
Or as soon as we hear back from THET.
Okay, thank you.
No problem.
Right.
Sibusiso Zondi, please go ahead. Okay, your hand is down.
Gan, can I just make a point here, please?
Please go ahead.
The colleagues generally ask if there is a complete series. The answer to that question would be yes. The N4 book is written by S.A. Chatragun. The N6 book is written by J.V. John and S.A. Chatragun. And Mr. John currently is working on the N5. So this will be a complete series from N4 to N6 written by the same authors. And I'm sure the same will apply to the other two authors that were mentioned by Amanda earlier on.
Yeah, same thing applies there.
Okay, thank you. Andile? Andile, are you? I think you need to unmute yourself as well, Andile. That's why you're not able to speak. Lindsay?
Morning, everyone. Sorry again, I also haven't been able to say anything because of the audio, but
Okay,
I just
we
want
can
to
hear
say
you now.
that.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, morning, everyone, and thank you so much for joining the webinar. On the issue with the DHET curriculum, I'll follow up with the DHET on that, just to make sure that everyone does get the colleges get with a logo if you're feeling unsure about it.
Thanks, Lindsay. And I think lecturers want to see the DHET logo.
Okay, I'll relay that to them.
Just to make sure, just to make sure that it is the correct one that they are dealing with.
Okay, I'll contact the curriculum committee department.
All right.
And let them know.
Andile, your hand is still up. I'm not sure what is going on your side, whether it's an audio issue.
Yes. Can you hear me now?
Yes, loud and clear. Please go ahead.
Okay. Regarding the content of the textbook, is there a need of teaching trigonometry or the graphs of trigonometry using radians? Because in the N4 it's only degrees, then radians we can cover them on N5 and N6. That's number one. Number two, for the second book of Van Rensburg, I think he wanted maybe call students maybe to cheat if they didn't do the homework. If you for answers for the activities, if you gave the complete solution, meaning to calculate. For an example, if you are working on determinants, you calculate for them dx, you calculate the delta, then you get the x values. While I think it was better if maybe you made part solutions instead of the whole solutions, because it's like students when they doing the work as they are given in class. Thank you.
Thank you, Sunil. I think you tackle the first one and Amanda can tackle the second question.
Okay, thank you very much. For N4, the degrees will suffice, although lecturers will make a note that they will show learners the conversion from radians to degrees and vice versa, because when you are calculating area under curves, the boundary conditions are normally given in radians, which learners will have to convert to degrees and use.
Okay, and then just to speak on the solutions, the only book with the full solutions is the Maths in 4 Students Handbook. So the Van Rensburg book only has the final answer, no in-between steps at the end of the book. and the full solutions are only available in the lecturer's guide for the Van Rensburg book. So it's only the student's handbook by Mr. Mappeling that has the full solutions available.
Can I just add? Sorry, can I just add on the student's handbook, the reason why the solutions are in is because it's also serves as a kind of study guide, so that if students they've got their core textbook, they're using that book for extra work and to improve their marks, and they're studying alone or they're studying on the weekend, they can find their way using the solutions. So it's really a learning tool for that specific book.
So Andile, it's the Chattergun's book and Van Rensburg book. The solutions are not at the back of the student book. They're in a separate lecture guide. The solutions for the Mappeling book appears at the back of the student book. So just to make that differentiation. It's not the Van Rensburg, as you alluded to. Wisdom, have we answered your question? I see your hand is still up. Hello, Wisdom. If we've addressed your issues, please could you lower your hand so I know that we've dealt with your question. Mameche Lawrence, your hand is up. And
No,
I've
I'm
unmuted
muted.
you. Please go ahead. No, you're unmuted.
No, I'm not speaking. I'm covered.
Okay, so okay, you can lower your hand. Thank you. All right. Lindsay, do you still want to say something as a concluding remark?
Someone raised a question earlier about whether they need a new book, and I was unable to access the audio at that time.
Right.
But I know that the Department of Higher Education do want colleges to get the new book to make sure that everyone is best prepared for the exam. Although the changes might not be huge, I think they are significant enough to warrant, the correct textbooks for the preparation. Maths is a really important subject. Yeah, and so their message to everyone is that yes, you need a new book that matches the new curriculum. So that's what we've been told. Thanks.
Thanks, Lindsay. So thanks to the presenters, the panelists this morning, but most importantly, thanks lecturers for making time to attend today's webinar. And yeah, as Macmillan Tropant, we are providing you with 3 different titles that you can choose which is going to suit you best in the classroom. Thank you very much, and please be on the lookout for our sales team visiting your campuses. You can also access the ebook version online. Just go to our website and you can look at the TVET section. You'll find everything there. Thank you very much and all the best.
Thanks, Ken.
Thank you.
Thanks, Gan. Thanks, Neil.
Thanks everyone for attending. All the best for the first trimester.